Okay, did I do all this? I myself am forgetting. Nasato vidyate bhavo we did? Anyone remembers? Does anyone remember if we did
Avinashi something.
we were in the middle of Avinashi here?
Yes, sir.
Alright. Let me then open this one. That's here. Okay. Avinashi tu tadvidhi. Yena sarvamidam tatam. There's a recording going on here. Okay. विनाशमपि यस्यास्य न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति अन्तवन्त इमे देहा नित्यस्योक्ताः शरीरिणः अनाशिनो प्रमेयस्य तस्माद् युध्यस्व भारत य एनं वेत्ति हन्तारं यश्चैनं मन्यते हतम् उभौ तौ न विजानीतो नायं हन्ति न हन्यते. That which pervades the entire body you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. The material body of the indestructible, immeasurable and eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. Therefore fight, O descendant of Bharata. যিনি অবিনাশী জীব তিনি আত্মরূপে মনুষ্যের সকল শরীর ব্যাপিয়া আছেন. That living entity who is imperishable in the form of the self is present in all the bodies of human beings by pervading them. এবং অতি সূক্ষ্ম পরমাণু পরিমাণ হইলেও সম্পূর্ণ দেহ পুষ্টিকারক মহৌষধের ন্যায় তাহার সর্ব শরীরে ব্যাপকতা শক্তি আছে. And even though it is very minute, it has the measurement of an atom, like a powerful medicine that can nourish the entire body. The living entity has the potency of pervasion throughout the body. তিনি স্বর্গ নরক ও নানা যোনি পরিভ্রমণ করিতে পারেন বলিয়া তাহাকে সর্বজ্ঞ বলা যায়. He can be referred to as Sarvaga, one who goes everywhere, because he can wander to Swarga, Naraka and to various species of life. তিনি অব্যয় অর্থাৎ নিত্য, তাহাকে কেহ বিনাশ করিতে পারে না. He is inexhaustible, that is eternal. Nobody can destroy him. এই সকল, what is this, 3 verses? Okay, let me read this and then I'll go back to Prabhupada. এই সকল শরীর অনিত্য. All of these bodies are non-eternal. কিন্তু শরীরী jivatma avinashi, but the embodied soul, the living entity, is indestructible. Shei jiva jivatma, that jiv, that living entity, the individual soul, ati sukshmatva hetu aparime, is immeasurable because it is very minute. অতএব হে ভারত, তুমি শাস্ত্রবিহিত স্বধর্ম পরিত্যাগ না করিয়া যুদ্ধ কর. Therefore, without abandoning your specific duty as prescribed in the scriptures, engage in war. Neither he who thinks the living entity is a slayer, nor he who thinks it slain is in knowledge, for the self slays not, nor is slain. যিনি জানেন যে এক জীব অন্য জীবাত্মাকে হনন করেন, এবং যিনি জানেন যে এক জীব অন্য জীবাত্মা কর্তৃক হত হন, তিনি কিছুই জানেন না। That person who considers that one jiva kills another jivatma, and the person who considers that one jiva is being killed by another jivatma do not understand. জীবাত্মা কাহাকেও হনন করেন না এবং কাহারও কর্তৃক হত হন না। The jivatma neither kills nor is it killed. বয়স্য অর্জুন, তুমি আত্মা, তুমি হননকর্তা নাও এবং হত হইতে পারো না। My friend Arjuna, you are an atma. You are not a killer, nor are you the killed. অজ্ঞজন কর্তৃক গুরুজন হন্তা বলিয়া তুমি যে অযশ লাভ করিবে, এইরূপ ভয়েরও প্রয়োজন নাই। There is no need to fear attainment of infamy, that you will be considered the killer of your gurus by ignorant men. Chakravarti. ना भावो विद्यते सत इत्यस्य अर्थं स्पष्टयति अविनाशी इति. Previously there was this verse, nasato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate satah. That which is asat does not exist, that which is temporary does not exist. Here in the text beginning with Avinashi, he clarifies this teaching. Tat jivatma swarupam yena sarvamidam shariram tatam vyaptam. That nature of the jivatma, is it pervades through all of this. That means it pervades through all of this body. Nanu sharira matra vyapi chaitanyatve jivatmanah madhyama parinamattvena anityatva prasaktihi. Objection. The jivatma, if we say that it only pervades within one body through its consciousness, then doesn't it lead us to the conclusion that it is temporary, as having the size of that body? Now, there's a background to this point. The Jains had the idea that the jivatma's size is the size of the body. Just as you can have water, you can fill up water into a bottle, then that is the size of that water inside that bottle. You can fill it up into a small bottle or a big bottle or into a cup or whatever it is. So they thought that the jivatma is something like that. So they developed this concept that the jivatma has the size of the body. So here Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur brings this up as an objection. Then he responds, ma evam, ma evam. No, it is not so. Sukshmanam apyaham jiva iti bhagavadukte eshonaratma chetasa veditavyo yasmin prana panchada samvivesha iti balagra shatabhagasya shatadha kalpitasya cha bhago jivasa vigyeya iti. Printing mistake. Aragramatro hyavaropi drishtaha iti shrutibhyascha tasya parimanattvameva. Okay, let us see each one. Sukshmanam apyaham jivaha. This is from the Uddhava Gita. Let me close this and let me open another window. Sukshmanam. Among subtle things, I am the spirit soul. In other words, the spirit soul is the most minute entity. That is Uddhava Gita 11.16.11 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Eshonoratma is here. Here. Eshonoratma chetasa veditavyo yasmin prana panchadha samvivesha praneshchittam sarvamautam prajanam yasmin vishuddhe vibhavatyesha atma. Here, notice this expression, Eshaha Anuhu Atma, which means the soul is atomic in size. It is minute. First point, it has a definite size and can be perceived by perfect intelligence. This atomic soul is floating in the five kinds of air, prana, apana, vyana, samana, and udana, and is situated within the heart, and it spreads its influence all over the body of the embodied living entities. When the soul is purified from the contamination of the five kinds of material air, its spiritual influence is exhibited. Then Balagra Shatabhagasya, here Shatadha Kalpitasya cha Bhago Jiva Savigyeya Sachanantyaya Kalpate. When the upper point of a hair is divided into 100 parts, and again each of such parts is further divided into 100 parts, each such part is the measurement of the dimension of the spirit soul. He is capable of uh, attaining endlessness. Sachanantyaya Kalpate. Similar verse. केशाग्र शतभागस्य शतांश सदृशात्मकः जीव सूक्ष्म स्वरूपोऽयं संख्यातीतो किञ्चित् कणः. That is this verse. There's something wrong with this. Let me take out another version of Sarartha Varshini. What is this verse that we are looking at? This is 2.16. Okay, wait. Let me go back. 2.16. Okay, Avinashi. Aragramatram, yes, I got it. It is not Arapramatram, it's Aragramatram. Let me trace it out. Okay. Not here. Should I trace it out? No, let me go the easy way. This is from where? This is from Shvetashvatara. Aragramatram Kyavaru. The living entity is seen to be extremely small, like the tip of a hair. Paraha api drashtaha. Okay. Okay, so what we have seen so far is these are all evidences that the living entity does have a size and it is very minute. In other words, it it is not like how the Jains think that it just fills in to the body. It pervades inside a body, but that doesn't mean that it does not have a size. The first evidence we saw from the 11th canto made it extremely clear that the living entity is the most minute entity. The second evidence, Esho Anuratma, Eshaha Anuha Atma. The Atma is Anu, minute in size. Then Balagra Shatabhagasya also made it very clear, and Aragra Matraha, its measurement is of the tip of the hair. Both of these are clear evidences that mm, it, it has a definite size. Iti Shrutviyascha Tasya Paramana Parimanatvam Eva. So it certainly has the measurement of an atom. It is atomic in size. Tadapi Sampurna Deha Vyapti Shaktimatvam Jatu Jati Tasya Mahamaner Mahaushadha Khandasya Va Shirasi Urasi Va Dhritasya Sampurna Deha Pushtikara Shaktimatvam Iva Na Asamanjasam. And it is not unreasonable um, uh, to conclude that it has an effect all over the body. Its potency spreads throughout the entire body, just as a great uh, gem has an effect throughout the body, just as a great uh, medicine, a small piece of great medicine, if it is held in one's on one's head or on one's chest, then it has the potency to nourish the entire body. And that is not considered to be unreasonable. So when we come across statements that the living entity is it pervades through its body, it pervades through its body through potency, not that it literally is of the size of that body. स्वर्ग नरक नाना योनिषु गमनं च तस्य उपाधि पारवश्यादेव. It's going to the various species is because it has come under various material designations. Taduktam pranam adhikritya tatrayena yena samsarate puman iti. And this has been spoken, this has been described by the Tatraya. Yena samsarate pumana. I think this is also from Bhagavatam. Let's trace it out. Yes. तामाहुस्त्रिगुणव्यक्तिं सृजन्तीं विश्वतोमुखं यस्मिन् प्रोतमिदं विश्वं येन संसरते पुमान्. According to great sages, that which is based on the three modes of material nature and which manifests the variegated universe is called the Sutra or Mahatattva. Indeed, this universe is resting within that Mahatattva, and due to its potency, the living entity undergoes material existence. अतएव अस्य सर्वागतत्वम् अपि अग्रिमश्लोके वक्ष्यमाणं न असमञ्जसम्. So even though it is only by designation that it is moving, so even though it is actually not going anywhere, it is not unreasonable. What will be stated in the next verse is not unreasonable. Ateva avyayasya nityasya. Therefore, the soul is inexhaustible, meaning it is eternal. Nityo nityanam chetanam eko bahunam yo vidhati kaman iti shrutehe. As we learn from the Shruti, the living entities are eternal. Their needs are fulfilled by one conscious being who is eternal. Yadva. Another meaning. Nanu dehaha jivatma paramatma iti etad vastutrikam manushyatiryak adishu sarvatra drishyate tatra adyayoho deha jivayoho tattvam nasato vidyate bhava ityanena uktam. तृतीयस्य परमात्मवस्तुनः किं तत्त्वम् इत्यतः अविनाशी तु इति तु भिन्नोपक्रमे परमात्मनः मायाजीवाभ्यां स्वरूपतः पार्थक्यात् इदं जगत्. Another meaning. This is considering here yena sarvam idam tatam in its full literal version, by which you should know that to be imperishable, by which all this is pervaded. So if you take this in the literal sense, all this means all, not just all this body, because idam, this can refer to this body in relationship to the soul. This can refer to this which is related to the soul, which means the body. But if you take idam or sarvam idam, all this in the literal sense, then this verse refers to the Paramatma. But why Paramatma has to come into the picture here? He explains. We can take this as an alternate meaning. There are three entities: the body, the Jivatma, and the Paramatma. All three are seen everywhere, meaning in all species of life. Human beings, animals, and so on. Everywhere there are three entities. There is a material body, there is a Jivatma, and there is a Paramatma. So, the distinction between the body and the Jivatma, that was set out in the previous verse, Nasato vidyate bhava. Now, the truth about the third entity, Paramatma, that is described in this verse, Avinashi tu tadvidhi yena sarvam idam tatam. And this expression tu means however or but. So it brings about a new subject matter, a different subject matter. So it is bringing about a different subject matter because it can be taken to refer to the Paramatma. Paramatmanah maya jivabhyam swarupatah parthakyat itam jagat. Naturally, the Paramatma is different from Maya and the Jivas. So therefore, it is a different topic that Krishna is beginning to talk about, and therefore tu, meaning however or but, signifying a new topic, is justified here. In that case, Sarvamidam refers to all of this world, because the Paramatma actually pervades all over this world. If I remember correctly, Madhvacharya takes this meaning. What happened? Why does it take so much time? I don't know. For some reason it's not opening. I'm not going to investigate that. But anyway, this meaning is also there. Then let's move on. Oh, why did I open this? I should have opened this. Okay. Then Nasato vidyate bhava ityasyartham spashtayati. Then in his comment to text 18, he says that text 18 clarifies the meaning of Nasato vidyate bhava. Antavanta iti. Antavante ime deha nityasya ukta sharirena. Mukta Sharirina. These bodies are said to be mm, with an end. Sharirinaha Jivasya Aprameyasya Atisukshmatvat Durgyeyasya. The Jiva here has been described as the possessor of the body. It's referred to as the embodied. Is referred to as Aprameyasya, indicating that it cannot be measured. It cannot be measured because it cannot be known. It cannot be known because it is extremely minute, too small. Tasmat yudhyasva iti shastra vihitasya swadharmasya tyagah anuchitah iti bhavah. Therefore, you should fight. The implication is to abandon one's swadharma, which has been prescribed in Shastra, is inappropriate. The entire Vedic system is meant to help us become self-realized and then God-realized. So therefore he says, Tasmat Yudhyasva. Therefore you should fight. What is the connection between fighting and the self? It is because if you know, first of all, you cannot engage in Swadharma if you do not know that you are a soul. One can engage in the activities of karma, jnana and bhakti properly only if you know certain basic things. Some general knowledge you need to have. Part of that is you need to know that we are spirit souls who reincarnate according to the laws of karma. If you do not know this much, then you will not even engage in the activities of Varnashrama Dharma, because the activities of Varnashrama Dharma give us results in our next life. They are not actually designed for this life. By exception, there may be some things which give us results in this life, but actually they are meant to give us results in next life. It's like you work in a company and you're paid at the end of the month or the end of the week or whatever, but you're not paid immediately unless you're one of these laborers who get paid on a daily basis. Even then you are paid at the end of the day. This knowledge of the spirit soul is directly linked with engaging in one's material prescribed duties as taught in the scriptures. Then, Bho Vayasya Arjuna, Tum Atma na hante karta, napi hante karma, ityaha yahiti. Then in text 19, Lord Krishna conveys to Arjuna, my dear friend Arjuna, you are an Atma. You are neither the subject or object of killing. That means you neither kill nor are you killed. Enam jivatmanam hantaram vetti bhishmadin Arjunaha hanti iti yo vetti iti arthaha. Hatamiti bhishmadi bhir Arjunaha hanyate iti yo vetti tavu bhau api agyaninav. The person okay. So that person, those persons, those two persons, the one who thinks that you are the killer of the Jivatmas, such as Bhishma, and who thinks that Arjuna kills Bhishma and others, as well as the one who thinks that Arjuna is being killed by the Jivatmas, is being killed by Bhishma and others. Both these persons are Jnanis. They are filled with ignorance. What is this? Ate? This is mistype. Ataha, yes. Ataha Arjuna ayam gurujanam hanti iti अज्ञानी लोक गीता दुर्यशसः का ते भीतिः इति भावः. So the implication is Uh, why are you afraid of the infamy sung by ignorant people that Arjuna, oh, he kills his Guru Janas, he kills his authorities. Why are you afraid of this? न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचिन्नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूय अजो नित्य शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. Where is my folio?
Sorry to disturb you, bro. We are not able to see your screen.
Why? But I'm sharing my screen. Wait. Let me. Now can you see?
Yes, Prabhu.
Right. Mm, what is this? When I'm going to go somewhere. Mm, For the soul, there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. Then there's another verse. Veda vinashinam nityam yaenam ajamavyayam. Katham sa purushah partha kam ghatayati hanti kam. O Partha, how can a person who knows that the soul is indestructible, eternal, unborn, and immutable kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? Bhaktivinoda Thakur. जीवात्मा अज अर्थात जन्म रहित. The Jivatma is unborn. Nitya अर्थात सकल काले वर्तमान. Eternal meaning ever existent. भूत भविष्यत ओ वर्तमान ए कालत्रय ताहाके ध्वंस करिते पारेना. Past, present and future cannot destroy him. ताहार जन्म मृत्यु नाय. He has no birth and he has no birth or death. अथवा पुनः पुनः ताहार उत्पत्ति की वृद्धि হয় না. He is not repeatedly born and growing. Tini Puratan. He is old, Othacha, and yet Nitya Naveen, ever fresh. Tini Hotahonna. He is not killed. Janmam Maranachil Sharire Sohe Tahar Kono Swarup Sambandha Nai. He has no constitutional relationship with the body which is habituated to birth and death. Mormanubad, the meaning of the next verse is जीव के जे अविनाशी नित्य अज अभय बोलिया जाने. The person who knows that the Jivatma is indestructible, eternal, unborn, and inexhaustible. हे पार्थ, O son of Pritha, সেই পুরুষ কি কাহাকে ও হত্যা করে? Whom does, who is killing whom? না হত্যা করিতে আজ্ঞা করে. And whom does he order to be killed? One point in Saratvarshini here regarding traveling. He said he's traveling through the what is that? He said through the upadhis. Where is that? Lose it. came in a verse before. No. Tasya upadhi paravashyadeva. The living entity's traveling is in terms of his material designations. This expression designation is important in Vedanta philosophy. Designation, the standard explanation of upadhi or material designation is usually conveyed through a standard example, a standard textbook example. Consider that there is a white crystal in front of you, and next to the white crystal is a red lotus flower. The red lotus flower is not behind the crystal, it is next to the crystal, and it is not touching that crystal. Still, you will see that the crystal is red. It appears red. So the reddish color of that white crystal, which is next to a red object, but which is not touching that object, and which is not behind that object also, is considered to be a designation. This is the technical understanding behind this innocent expression upadhi or material designation. So me considering that I am a male-bodied human being, this male-bodied human being is actually a designation. This identification is actually a designation for the soul. It is not intrinsic to the soul. Just as a white crystal is intrinsically white. There are also red crystals, but this is not a red crystal. This is a white crystal. Yet it appears red. It is not been converted into a red crystal. It does not have a red flower behind it also. So it is not that you're seeing through it some redness. It is just next to it, and still it is red. So this is how the living entity is stuck in material existence through its designation. So our movement within material existence is also in terms of designations only. These things will become more clear as we study Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. Jivatmanaha nityatvam spashtataya sadhayati na jayate mriyate iti janma maranayor vartamanatvam nishedhaha. The eternity of the Jivatma has been established with clarity here. Na jayate mriyate, neither born nor dead. This prohibits us from having the conception that the living entity is born or it has death. Nayam bhutva bhaviteti tayor bhutatva bhavishyatva nishedha. And it does not have a past or a future. Nayam bhutva bhavita indicates that. Ateva ajaha iti kalatrayepi ajasya janma abhavat na asya prag abhavaha. So because it is not born in the past or in the present or in the future, it does not have, or rather there is no prior non-existence for the soul. Sorry if that sounds complicated, but it is equally complicated in Sanskrit. But it's just a technical way of expressing what Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti spoke in more simple language. Shashwataha Shashwat sarvakala eva vartata iti na asya kalatrayepi dhvamsaha. Shashwataha, it exists at all times. In other words, the Jivatma does not get destroyed in the past, in the present, in the future. Ateva ayam nityah. Therefore, he is nitya or eternal. Tarhi bahukala sthayitvat jaragrastha ayam iti chet na. So if he is staying for a long time, then does he get overcome by old age? No. Puranaha. The word Purana establishes that he does not grow old. Pura api navaha. That is Puranaha. Even though he is old, he is fresh. Prachinaha api ayam navinaha. Iva. He is as if he is young, fresh. Even though he is very ancient. Iti Shadbhava Vikara Abhavat. Iti Bhavaha. The implication is he does not possess the 6 features of transformation of bodies. We know Jayate, Asti, Vardhate, Viparinamate, Apakshiyate, Mriyate. There are 6 features of all material bodies. The bodies that take birth, Jayate, Asti, stays for some time, Jayate, Asti, Vardhate, grows, Viparinamate, it produces byproducts, Apakshiyate, then it grows old, decays, Mriyate, and then it dies. But these apply only to the body. The Atma itself does not experience this. The Atma does not grow old, it does not experience any of these 6. ननु शरीरस्य मरणादौपचारिकन्तु मरणम् अस्य अस्तु तत्र अह न इति. There's an objection here. Because the body gets death and so on. So indirectly, maybe it's possible for the living entity to have death and so on. Indirectly, just metaphorically. Tatraha, in this regard, the Gita says no. Sharirena saha sambandha abhavat na upacharaha. Because there is no relationship between the Jivatma and the body. There is no metaphorical indirect death or birth of the living entity also. It has no it is constitutionally unrelated with the body. Then वासांसि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णानि अन्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि. As a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones. जीर्ण वस्त्र परित्याग करिया नरगण जेमन अपर नववसन परिधान करे तेहियो तेमनि जीर्ण शरीर त्याग करतः अभिनव देह धारण करिया थाके. More or less it's covered in Prabhupada's translation. ननु मदीय युद्धात् भीष्म संज्ञक शरीरम तु जीवात्मा त्यक्षत्येव इति अतः त्वं च अहं च तत्र हेतु भवावः प्रिंटिंग मिस्टेक. I think I'll reserve this only for Sanatha Varshini. This is 21. Veda Vinashanam. Did I read it out? Did I skip it or what happened? I skipped it. Let me go back to this. Ateva एवं भूतज्ञाने सति त्वं युध्यमानः अपि अहं युद्धे प्रेरयन् अपि दोषभाजो नैव भवावः इत्याह वेदेति. with such knowledge, even when you are engaged in war, uh, even when I'm impelling you in war, we are not at fault. With this in mind, he speaks text 21. Nityamiti Kriya Visheshanam. That is the word Nitya is an adverb. Avinashi nam iti ajam iti avyayam iti etaihi vinashajanya apakshayaha nishiddhaha. The living entity is Avinashi nam ajam avyayam. It is indestructible, it is unborn, it is inexhaustible. All of these establish that there is no decay for the soul, which is due to destruction. These are all prohibited. These conceptions are prohibited. Sapurushaha Mallakshanaha Kam Ghatayati. Where is okay? Whom does that person like me cause to kill? Katham va ghatayati. How does he cause him to kill? Tatha sa purushaha twallakshanaha. And a person like you, kam hanti. Whom does he kill? Katham va hanti. How does he kill? How can that person who tells you to kill be at fault? And how can the person who is doing that activity of killing be at fault? Okay, this is where I need to gather. Okay, here it is, Vasamsi. Objection. Because of my war, the body that is named Bhishma will be abandoned by one Jivatma. So then I and you, both of us, will be causes of that. And then we will be taken to task for that. That's the implication. This is the objection. Anticipating this objection, Lord Krishna speaks. Evaiti vasamsi. He speaks the text beginning Vasamsi. Navinam vastram paridhapayitum jirna vastrasya tyajane kaschit kim doshaha bhavati iti bhavaha. The implication is to reject a decayed old dress in order to put on a fresh new dress. What kind of defect would there be? What defect would it be? What would be the problem with that? There's no problem with that. Tatha sharirani. So in the same way is it with the bodies. Bhishme jirna shariram parityajya divyam navyam anyat shariram prapsyati iti kaha tava va mama va doshaha bhavati iti bhavaha. It is implied that when Bhishma abandons his decayed body and he attains a celestial new body, another body, he's going to attain that. So what is my or your problem with that? What is our fault in this, in causing this to happen? Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavaka, na chainam kledayantyapo, na shoshayati maruta, achetyoyam adahyoyam akledyo shoshevacha, nitya sarvagatah sthano rachaloyam sanatana, avyaktoyam achintyoyam avikaryoyam uchyate, tasmadevam viditvainam nanusho chitumarhasi. The soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, nor burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. This individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble and can be neither burned nor dried. He is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same. It is said that the soul is invisible, inconceivable, and immutable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. Jivatma অস্ত্র শস্ত্র আদিতে ছন্ন হন না, অগ্নিতে দগ্ধ হন না, জলে ক্লেদিত হন না এবং বায়ুর দ্বারাও শুষ্ক হন না। এই জীবাত্মা অচ্ছেদ্য, অদাহ্য, অক্লেদ্য ও অশোষ্য। ইনি নিত্য, সর্বগত, স্থাণু, অচল অর্থাৎ স্থিরতর। ইনি সনাতন অর্থাৎ সদা বিদ্যমান। Sanatan indicates that this living entity exists constantly. Achala indicates that he is um, very firmly fixed in his constitutional nature. ইনি অব্যক্ত, অচিন্ত্য ও অবিকার্য বলিয়া উক্ত হইয়াছেন। He is said to be unmanifest, inconceivable and untransformable. অতি সূক্ষ্ম বলিয়া তাহাকে অব্যক্ত বলি। I'm referring to him as unmanifest because he is extremely minute. তথাপি দেহব্যাপী ধর্মবশতঃ তাহাকে অচিন্ত্য বলা যায়। But because he has the nature that to pervade over the body, he can be said to be inconceivable. জন্মাদি ষট বিকারের অযোগ্য বলিয়া তাহাকে অবিকার্য বলা যায়। He can be referred to as untransformable because he is not subject to the 6 transformations beginning with birth. জীবাত্মাকে এই প্রকারে অবগত হইয়া তোমার শোক পরিত্যাগ করা উচিত। You should abandon your distress after understanding the Jivatma in this manner. न च युद्धे त्वया प्रयुक्तेभ्यः शस्त्र अस्त्रेभ्यः कापि आत्मनः व्यथा संभवेत्। And you will not, there is no possibility of you experiencing any pain. There is no possibility of the soul experiencing any pain due to weapons employed by you in war. Nainam shastrani khadga adini pavakah agneya astram api yushmadadi prayuktam. Weapons refer to ordinary weapons, human weapons like swords. Pavaka, fire, refers to the Agneya Astra, the weapon which invokes fire. Apaha, Parjanyastram api. Fire not only refers to ordinary fire, it also refers to the mystical weapon which invokes fire. Similarly, water doesn't refer to just ordinary water, it also refers to the weapon which uses water. Parjanyastra. Marutaha Vayavyam. Vayavyam Mantram? Vayavyam Astram. Marutaha refers to the Vayavya weapon, the weapon which employs Vayu. Okay, then Tasmad, one minute. Okay. Tasmad Atmayam Evam Uchyate Ityaha. Therefore, the Atma is described as Achedhyayam, Adahyayam, as something which cannot be cut, which cannot be burnt, and so on. अत्र प्रकरणे जीवात्मनः नित्यत्वस्य शब्दतः अर्थतः च पौनरुक्त्यं निर्धारणप्रयोजकं संदिग्धधीषु ज्ञेयम्. Here, in this section, the eternity of the Jivatma has been repeatedly through words and through concepts. It has been repeated. This is in order to make it very firm, and this is for the purpose of establishing this concept very strongly amongst those who have a doubting intelligence. It is for this reason that it is like this. It should be understood in this manner. यथा कलौ अस्मिन् धर्मः अस्ति इति त्रिचतुर्धा प्रयोगात् धर्मः अस्ति एव इति निस्संशयः प्रतीतिः स्यात् इति ज्ञेयम्. Just as there is the scriptural statement that in Kali Yuga, in this Kali Yuga, there is dharma, like this 3-4 times it has been stated. By such repeated statements, one will develop the conviction free from any doubt whatsoever that yes, dharma actually exists. So this should be understood to be of a similar type. The idea is this. The common understanding is dharma is some ancient concept. People in the past might have followed it due to various reasons, but actually these things don't work now. The laws of karma don't work. These are not real things. So in that way, these doubts keep disturbing the minds of the conditioned souls in Kali Yuga. So therefore the scriptures repeatedly say, no, dharma exists in Kali Yuga. In other words, the laws of karma, everything is true. And when you perform pious activities, you are benefited in your next life. All of these things are true. They are true. They are true. 3 times, 4 times, repeatedly, this is stressed. In the Puranas, in different places, these things are stressed. So like that, that is just to ensure that we don't have any doubts. So similarly, here in Bhagavad Gita, to make us clearly understand that the Jivatma is eternal, it is being repeatedly stressed that he is eternal in various ways. Through synonyms, Krishna says it. Conceptually, he uses various expressions to make it clear to us that the living entity, the Jivatma, is eternal. Sarvagataha swakarma vashad deva manushya tiryak adi sarvadeha gataha. Sarvagataha, one who goes everywhere, means under the control of his own karmic reactions, he goes to all the different bodies, such as the body of the devas, the body of the human beings, the body of animals, and so on. So the living entity, one lifetime he is a human being. If he performs pious activities, next lifetime he gets a deva body. If he performs sinful activities, he gets an animal body, and so on. Sthanuhu achalaha iti paunaruktyam sthairya nirdharanartham. Sthanuhu achalaha. Sthanu means is fixed. Achalaha means is unmoving. So this appears to be a redundant statement. Redundant statement means the same thing is being said again and again. This is in order to make us get fixed in the correct understanding of the Atma, Jivatma. Ati sukshmatvad avyaktaha. He is avyakta or unmanifest because it is too minute, too small. Tadapi deha vyapi chaitanyatvad achintyaha atarkyaha. Cannot be understood. Its actual nature cannot be understood through logical argumentation, because its potency in the form of consciousness, chaitanya, that spreads throughout the body. So therefore, it is inconceivable. Janmadi shadvikara anarhatva avikaryaha. It is untransformable because it is not subject to the 6 transformations beginning with janma, birth. Athachainam nityajatum nityam va manyase mritam tathapi tvam mahabaho nainam shochitum arhasi. If, however, you think that the soul or the symptoms of life is always born and dies forever, you still have no reason to lament, O mighty armed. Hey Mahabaho, जीव के যদি নিত্যজাত ও নিত্য মৃত বলিয়াই মানো, তাহা হইলেও তো তোমার আর এই প্রকার শোক করিবার কারণ নাই। This is already covered in the translation. तदेवं शास्त्रीय तत्वदृष्ट्या त्वाम अहम प्रबोधयामि। व्यवह So appears to be a printing mistake. Let me check. Okay. तदेवं शास्त्रीय तत्वदृष्ट्या त्वामहं प्रबोधयम्. I have enlightened you so far from the perspective of scriptural truths. So far. व्यवहारिक तत्वदृष्ट्या अपि प्रबोधयामि अवधेहि इत्याह अथेति. But from the perspective of from a practical perspective also, now I am going to enlighten you. Listen. With this in mind, he speaks the next text. Atheti, beginning atha. Nitya jatam. Dehe jate satyeva nityam niyatam jatam manyase. If you think that the living entity is always born when the body is born, tatha deheva mrite mritam nityam niyatam manyase, and you think that the soul is always dead when the body is dead, he brings up this consideration here. Still there is no need to lament. That is the idea. Mahabaho iti parakramavataha kshatriyasya tava tadapi yuddham avashyakam swadharmaha. He refers to him as Mahabaho, O mighty armed. You, even for a person like you, Kshatriya, with prowess, war is necessary as your swadharma. Yaduktam, for it is stated in the Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 54. Kshatriyanam dharma prajapati vinirmitaha bhratapi bhrataramahanya yena ghora tarastataha. This is the implication of the expression Mahabaho. 10, 54, 40. Let me trace it out. The code of sacred duty for warriors established by Lord Brahma enjoins that one may have to kill even his own brother. That is indeed a most dreadful law. So he is referring to this, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. One point to note is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is a teacher of Srimad Bhagavatam. He analyzes everything from the perspective of Srimad Bhagavatam. Ideally, his commentary should be studied. His commentary on Bhagavad Gita should be studied after one has gone through Srimad Bhagavatam. Jatasya hi dhruvam mrityu dhruvam janma mritasya cha tasmad apariharyarthe natvam shochitum arhasi. One who has taken his birth is sure to die, and after death one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. Yokhon janma hoile karmak hoye nishchay morite hoy. As soon as one takes birth, by the destruction of one's karmic reactions, it is certainly one has to die. O maran hoile karmafal bhog koribar janna আবার নিশ্চিত জন্মগ্রহণ করিতে হয়. And when one dies, certainly one has to take another birth in order to experience the result of the activities he has done in that life just before his death. তখন এই মতো অপরিহার্য বিষয়ে শোকাকুলিত হওয়া তোমার কর্তব্য নহে. So in this unavoidable matter, it is not your duty to become overwhelmed by lamentation. So this explanation itself makes many things clear. Why is it that when you are born you have to die, and why is it that when you are dead you have to take birth? It is because of one's pending karmic reactions. I have been given a new body. Why? Because I have to experience the karmic reactions I have to experience the reactions for the activities I have performed in the past. And when those reactions for this episode are over, then my enjoyment and suffering pertaining to this particular body will get exhausted. When that gets exhausted, there is no need for this body, so then the soul is taken away. So naturally the soul will die, the body will die. And after death, why there has to be another birth? There has to be another birth because in the meanwhile I have performed other activities in this life, and those activities, if they are pious activities, I will need to enjoy. If they are impious activities, I need to suffer. For that I definitely need to have another body. So therefore it is said that for the person who dies, he has to have another birth. He yasmat tasya swa arambhaka karmakshaya mrityuh dhruvah nishchitah. It is certain, death is certain for him when the karmic reactions that have begun to fructify are exhausted. Mritasya tad deha kritena karmana janma api dhruvameva. And it is certain that there will be another birth because of the karmic reactions that have been created in that body, which is now dead. That body is now dead. So therefore, for the one who has experienced death, there has to be birth again. Apariharye artha iti mrityuh janma cha parihartum ashakyam eva iti artha. It is unavoidable. In this unavoidable matter signifies that death and birth cannot be avoided at all. Of course, for the condition, so that is there. Avyakta adhini bhutani vyakta madhyani bharata avyakta nidhananyeva tatra ka paridevana. All created beings are unmanifest in their beginning, manifest in their interim state, and unmanifest again when annihilated. So what need is there for lamentation? Hey Bharat, O descendant of Bharata, অপ্রকাশিত ভূত সকল উৎপন্ন হইয়া ব্যক্ত হয়, জন্ম মরণ এই অব্যবহিত কাল মধ্যে ব্যক্ত হইয়া আবার নিধন প্রাপ্ত হইলেই অব্যক্ত হওয়া যায়, তবে তজ্জন্য পরিদেবনা কি? Manifest beings, unmanifest beings take birth and become manifest. Birth and death, when between this they are manifest, and then when they become and then when they experience death, then they become unmanifest. So what is the need to lament about this? যদিও উক্ত মতটি সাধু সম্মত নয়, তথাপি বিচারস্থলে স্বীকার করিলেও তোমার পক্ষে ক্ষত্রিয় ধর্ম রক্ষার জন্য যুদ্ধ করাই কর্তব্য. Even though this opinion is not in line with, is not approved by the sadhus, still while analyzing, even if it is accepted, still it is your duty to engage in war to protect your duty as a Kshatriya. This is what Krishna wants to convey to him. Tadevam jivapakshe न जायते न म्रियते इत्यादिना देहपक्षे च जातस्य हि ध्रुवो मृत्युः इत्यनेन शोकविषयं निराकृत्य इदानीम् उभयपक्षेऽपि निराकरोति अव्यक्तेति. In this manner, the living entity, it is not meant to be lamented over. That has been presented through texts beginning najayate, najayate, mriyate, and so on. Then through texts such as through the text jatasya hi dhruva mrityu, it is pointed out that the body also is not an object of lamentation. It's not meant to be lamented about. So in both the soul and the body are not objects of lamentation, but this has been stated in separately in varied verses. Now in the next verse beginning avyakta, both of them have been denied. It has been denied that neither the soul nor the body is an object of lamentation. Bhutani Deva Manushya Tiryak Adini, the beings refer to celestials, human beings, animals, and so on. Avyaktani na vyaktam vyaktihi adau janma purvakale yesham किंतु तदानीमपि लिंगदेहः स्थूलदेहश्च स्व आरंभक पृथिव्यादि द्रव्यसत्वात् कारणात्मना वर्तमानः अस्पष्टम आसीद एव इत्यर्थः. Initially they were not manifest. Before their birth they were not manifest. Even at that time the subtle body and the gross body, they existed in the form of earth, water, fire, air, ether. The elements in the form of the cause, they existed, but they were unclear at that point in time. Vyaktam vyaktihi madhye yesham tani, and then they become manifest in the middle. Na vyaktihi nithanad anantaram yesham tani, and they become unmanifest later. After destruction they become unmanifest. Mahapralaye api karma matra adinam satvat sukshma rupena bhutani santyeva. Even at the time of the great dissolution, in Bhagavatam you'll learn about different dissolutions. In Bhagavad Gita some information is given, in Srimad Bhagavatam further detailed information is given of different types of dissolutions. In 12th canto you'll come across. So there is a great dissolution at the end of Brahma's life and so on. So during a great dissolution, karmic reactions exist. So therefore these beings do exist in a subtle form. Tasmat sarva bhutani adyantarayoho avyaktani madhye vyaktani ityartha. So therefore all beings are unmanifest in the beginning and at the end, but in the middle they are manifest. Yaduktam shrutibhihi, as it is stated by the Shrutis. Sthira chara jatayahasyur rajayotha nimitta yujaha yujo iti. Let's trace it out. This is 10.89.29. No, 87.29. 10. Yes, got it. स्थिरचर जातयस्युरजयोत्थन्निमितयुजो विहर उदीक्षया यदि परस्य विमुक्त ततः न हि परमस्य कश्चिदपरो न परश्च भवे वियत इवा पदस्य तव शून्य तुलाम दधतः. O eternally liberated, transcendental Lord, your material energy causes the various moving and non-moving species of life to appear by activating their material desires, but only when and if you sport with her by briefly glancing at her. You, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, see no one as an intimate friend and no one as a stranger, just as the ethereal sky has no connection with perceptible qualities. In this sense, you resemble a void. त्वदीक्षणवशक्षोभ मायाबोधितकर्मभिः जातान्, printing mistake, it looks like samsaratah khиннаन् nrihare pahi nah pitah. O Father, O Lord, appearing as half man, half lion, please save those who have been born into the endless cycle of birth and death. These souls are distressed by their karmic entanglement, which Maya awakened when your glance excited her to activity. This is evidence that karmic reactions exist even during the greatest of the dissolutions. Ka paridevana. What? Why should that be lamentation? Kaha shoka nimittaha vilapaha. Why this lamentation derived from distress? Tatha chauktam naradena. And that is stated by Narada. 1.13.44 यन्मन्यसे ध्रुवं लोकम अध्रुवं वा न वो भयम सर्वथा ही न शोच्यास्ते स्नेहादन्यत्र मोहजात. 1.13.44. O King, in all circumstances, whether you consider the soul to be an eternal principle, or the material body to be perishable, or everything to exist in the impersonal absolute truth, or everything to be an inexplicable combination of matter and spirit, feelings of separation are due only to illusory affection and nothing more. Then, आश्चर्यवत् पश्यति कश्चिदेनम् आश्चर्यवद् वदति तथैव चान्यः आश्चर्यवच्चैनमन्यः शृणोति श्रुत्वाप्येनं वेद न चैव कश्चित्. Some look on the soul as amazing, some describe him as amazing, and some hear of him as amazing, while others, even after hearing about him, cannot understand him at all. Bhaktivinoda Thakur. जीवात्मा के केहो आश्चर्यवत दर्शन करें. Some look upon the जीवात्मा as being amazing. केहो आश्चर्य भावे वर्णना करें. Some describe him with astonishment. एवं केहो आश्चर्य ज्ञाने श्रवण करें. And some of them hear about the soul with a consideration that it is astonishing, amazing. और केहो जानिया शुनिया हो ताहा के बुझिते पारें ना. And there are some who, even after knowing about it and hearing about it, they cannot understand it. जीवात्मा स्वरूप संबंधे এই प्रकार भ्रम হইতে জড়বাদ অনিত্য চৈতন্যবাদ ও কেবলাদ্বৈতবাদ রূপ অনর্থ প্রসূত হইয়াছে. It is because of such mistakes in relation to the constitutional nature of the Jivatma that the philosophies of materialism, the philosophies of temporary consciousness, and the philosophy of Kevaladvaitavada. Kevaladvaitavada is Mayavada. These anarthas, these are philosophical anarthas, have been born from this kind of misconceptions. Nanu kimidam आश्चर्यं ब्रूषे किं च एतद् अपि आश्चर्यं यद्देव प्रबोध्यमानस्य अपि अविवेकः न अपयाति इति तत्र सत्यम् एव इत्याह आश्चर्यवद् इति. Lord Krishna then anticipates that Arjuna might ask, oh, what is this that you're speaking? It is so amazing. And then Lord Krishna thinks, even after, and then he anticipates that Arjuna continues to think that even after you enlighten me about this, still my lack of discrimination does not go away. And then Lord Krishna, he considers, yes, it is true. It's certainly true. And he speaks the text beginning, Ashcharyavad. Enam Atmanam Deham cha tat Ubhayrupam Sarvalokam. Even after hearing about him, they cannot understand this soul, the body, and in fact the nature of the entire world. They cannot understand any of this clearly. Dehi nityam avadhyoyam dehe sarvasya bharata tasmat sarvani bhutani natvam shochitum arhasi. O descendant of Bharata, he who dwells in the body can never be slain. Therefore, you need not grieve for any living being. वस्तुतः देहधारी यही जीवात्मा नित्य अवध्य रूपे विराजित था. The Jivatma is factually sustaining the body, but still it exists eternally as being unkillable. অতএব ভূতগণের জন্য তোমার শোক করা অকর্তব্য. Therefore, you should not lament regarding the creatures, the various living beings. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Tarhi nischitya bruhi kim aham kuryat. No. Printing mistake. तर्हि निश्चित्य ब्रूहि किम अहम कुर्याम किम वा न कुर्याम इति. So then Arjuna wants to ask Lord Krishna, and Krishna has sensed this. So what should I do and what should I not do? Tatra shokam ma kuru yuddham tu kuru ityaha dehi iti bhabhyam. And then in two texts, beginning with text 30, Lord Krishna says, do not lament and do engage in war. He has told him what not to do, and he has told him what to do also. Okay, I'll stop with this. Questions, ask in the Telegram group. Shakalpatarubhyasya kripasinubhyo cha patitamam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.